Good evening. So today we are continuing with the Uddhava Gita. Now we will be having Uddhava Gita 4 days in a row, which means today, tomorrow morning, day after tomorrow morning, and then on Monday evening. So we will be having 4 satsangs. Earlier we used to have only on Saturday and Sunday. So just as a recap of whatever that I have told you so far. It was mentioned in the last satsang that everything that is there, whether it is pleasure or pain, it is not connected to the Atma. This whole thing is a creation of Maya alone. So this is a Brahman who has gone through this whole stage of trying to find out the truth about what is life about and what is this thing that he's got into. He went on a journey and then he is trying to find answers and he has found those answers. So we are trying to understand what his answers are. So now let us see what he is going to say. We are doing Uddhava Gita. This is chapter 18, verse 56 onwards. This is verse 56. If time be the cause of pleasure and pain, how does it affect the Atma? For it is one with the time. Surely a flame is not adversely affected by fire, nor a hailstone by cold. The Supreme Self is never affected by pair of opposites. So whom should one be angry with? In this, the Brahmana is making these statements which are very, very profound. Sri Krishna is telling Uddhava what this Brahmana has said. He says, if time is the cause of pleasure and pain, can time be the cause of pleasure and pain? Now this is a question you need to ask yourself. If you are having some pleasure or some pain, or whatever that you are going through in your mind, all this is happening to you. Physically, you can actually feel it, things are happening. Oh, there is this problem in my world, or there is this great thing that has happened to me. Suppose your daughter has got married and you are very joyous about it. Yes, my daughter has got married, my son has got married. I have won a lottery. I have done so many wonderful things. So you are joyous about the whole thing. There is a lot of pleasure in you. Or there is sadness and there is pain in your life. You don't have money. You don't have a place to go to. You are thrown on the streets. People are ill-treating you. They have taken away your possessions. Your own children are treating you badly. Like this case where the Brahmana is treated badly by his own children and his wife. Both of them are treating him in such a manner that they threw him out of the house. He had wandered all over the place, if you recollect the story. Now all this that was happening to him, the pleasure on one side and the pain on one side. Is it a part and parcel of this material world, or is it a part and parcel of time? Is it because of time this is happening? This is a question he's asking himself. The pleasure and the pain, or whatever that you go through, is only affecting the material world. It is only the material body which you have taken from this material earth, your mother earth. Mother nature has given you the body. The soul, the divine being inside of you, inside that body of yours, he has no idea about it. He is not even concerned, because being detached, he is not at all bothered about those kind of things. So, Here the question that is being asked is, for it is one with time. The divine Atma is one with time. It is time itself. Hasn't Sri Krishna told you that I am the time, the eternal time? The time is a factor which is felt very miserably by human beings on earth. But the ones who are divine control the time, because time is nothing to them. The Atma itself is time. So isn't it one with the time? So this pleasure and pain, how is it going to affect it? It doesn't. Then he says, just like a flame is not adversely affected by fire. There is a flame of a candle. Can it be affected by fire? No. Like that, the Atma, which is time itself, cannot be affected by time itself, isn't it? All the factors that cause pleasure and pain cannot affect that. Then he says, how the hailstones can feel cold. Isn't it very funny to know this kind of a thing? The hailstones are themselves, those balls of ice that fall from the sky. And they are talking about hailstone and cold. The hailstone itself is a cold thing, isn't it? So the Supreme Soul, the Self which is there, is never affected, is not at all affected by the pair of opposites. The opposites are happening in the material world. There is pain and pleasure. There is happiness and joy on one side. There are tremendous issues and problems which are coming up. There are too many issues. Like a person can go through a terrible amount of anxiety, crisis, tensions, all those kind of things a person can go through, physically and mentally. See, they can go through whatever that is there. They can be happy also in this world. But how does it affect the self? The self is not at all affected by this pair of opposites. So then, the Brahmana is asking himself, so then whom should I be angry with? Do you think I should be angry with my relations? The relatives are the sons and the daughters and the kingdom people who are there in this world. You remember, he is being ridiculed, his clothes are torn, he was thrown out of the house, all the money was taken away from him, he was treated badly by his own wife and children. They took away everything of his and they threw him out. So here he is asking this question. He has become realized. This question is, so whom should one get angry with? Can you get angry with this material world which is just non-existent? The truth about this world being a fantasy is something we are coming to. This world is nothing but an illusion. It's a Maya. And the Maya can put you in a hex, the magical world. Things will happen this way in a moment. Suddenly, just now I was seeing one small magic show conducted by robots. The robots were doing this magic show and they were saying, okay, look at this card, look at this card, look at this card. And suddenly it was doing like this, like this, like this. And the card, instead of being a queen on one side, changes into a king. And the robot was performing this magic. Not a human being. The robot is programmed by the human being. And the magic is nothing but an illusion. The truth is different. The truth is the self. It is ever effulgent. It is the nothing in this world affects it. So if you are that person who is the self, who has realized this whole thing, he will understand very clearly that this world is nothing but a fantasy. It is only an illusion. And the illusion is being played out in front of you. And if you get caught in the illusion, you are going to feel the pleasure and the pain of it. All that comes to you. And this is what Krishna is telling us the story of this Brahmana. He has said this in a verse, if you remember this clearly. So, we have completed verse 56. So, we will move to verse 57. The Atma, I will just say it once again. One moment. We are doing chapter 18 from the Uddhava Gita. This is verse 57. The Atma which is beyond Prakriti is nowhere subjected anyway to the pair of opposites by anything. As is the case with the ego, which conjures up relative existence. The illumined man is never afraid of the material world. Such wonderful words these are. The Atma is beyond Prakriti, Mother Nature, Prakriti. Atma is way beyond Prakriti. Anything that is happening to you, to your body, to your mind, or to your intellect, is happening to this physical one. See? Whereas the one that you truly are is not even that physical body. The physical body belongs to the Mother Nature. You are not the physical body. So, the Atma which is beyond Prakriti is nowhere subjected in any way to the pair of opposites by anything. So, anything may happen in this world. The pair of opposites can keep on catching you and shaking you up. The whole world will tell you, this is the truth, this is the truth, this is the truth. And you can get carried away by the truth. The material worldly truth. Somebody cheats you of money or whatever that you have in this world. Let us say, or somebody is, stabbing you. There is this case which happened where the person he was a coach. Now this coach was beaten by 4 people and they filmed it and put it on Facebook live. I mean, whether it was live or no, I don't know. But they put it on Facebook. This person, there was a word carved on his back also. And they hit him with all kinds of things. Chains and this and that and knives and God knows what all things. That person is now there at home. These 4 people have been sent to jail. And it happened in a proper neighborhood. A neighborhood where everything is going on. You see, we have houses left, right and center. Everywhere there are houses. They look so simple and elegant. You feel as if there is nothing wrong in them. But every house has a skeleton in the cupboard. There is a lot of mystery there. But that mystery is connected to the material world. The self, which is nothing but the divine Atma itself, is not at all part of this pleasure or pain. Think about it. You may have a lot of money, so much money, and yet you may have an autistic child whom you have to look after. The child may be 18, 20 or 22 years old. Do you think you have the freedom? There is no freedom for you, because if you die, if you are the mother or the father of this child, you are going to be worried what happens to this child after I go away. Got it? Till the end of your life, you are going to be affected by it. And that is what affects a person. These kind of things happen to everyone. They are trapped in the material world. I was talking to some people about freedom today. I was telling them you have the freedom in your life to do what you feel like. Some people have freedom. They can do anything. They don't have anybody to report to. And then they get married. And then they have a wife. And the wife controls literally everything. If the person says, I want to go and meet my friends, he can't go and meet his friends because his wife will say, where are you going? I am with you. I want to come with you. He could go out for a game of cricket or he could do whatever he felt like earlier. Now he can't do that. If he has to go out somewhere, he has to take his wife and then the children come in. He has to buy a house. He has to take loans. He has to take a vehicle, a two-wheeler, a four-wheeler or whatever. Then the loans keep on piling up. And because of the loans, he has to take up a good job. And the job has to pay him so much that he has to continue to pay till the loan is settled. And then his children are growing up. And as the children grow up, he is supposed to send them to good school and then college. I'm not saying that it happens to a man alone. It can happen to a woman also. She also has to take care of her children. And then she is supposed to bother about them till they get married or till they go out of the house. And imagine in that, you have a child who is autistic or who has certain defects in the body. What happens to the freedom that you had? It is gone out of the window. You don't have freedom. And there are lots of my disciples who are today free. Some of them are married, but they are no longer involved in relationship with their, spouses. Some of them are not married. They don't have any hassles in their life. They may have certain attachments to their parents or to somebody, but that is it. They are free. They can just walk out of their life and nothing happens to them. This is what is he telling us. This Brahmana is telling us today he is free. His wife treated him badly and threw him out. His children threw him out. The whole world threw stones at him, tore his clothes, did all kinds of things to this Brahmana. He doesn't have money. He doesn't have clothes. Nobody recognizes him. It is called freedom. When you don't have money, you have freedom. Imagine if there is a gold chain with you which is costing 1,00,000 rupees. Do you know how much care you have to take care of it? Can you just throw it away somewhere? You can't. Same with relationships. Can you give away those relationships? No, you can't. And this is a truth which we have to experience ourselves. You cannot get out of this bondage. Once you are got into the bondage, you are finished. Freedom doesn't come to a person so easily. And if you are free today, you should be thankful that you are free. That you don't have any attachments of any kind. And that is what he says. The pair of opposites, as is the case with the ego, which conjures up relative existence. The ego comes in a person. He says, I am the father, I am the son, I am the brother, or something like that. I have this house, I have this property. I. That's the ego, which comes because of relative existence. It is because you own something. Ownership is there. Attachments are there. Passions are there. I want to have the best car in the world. It's your ego talking. And that passion will drive you to get that car. You got what I'm saying? You look at all those Arabs. They have so many cars in their garages. all fancy, gold plated, and this and that. It is their ego talking. Can they keep the car somewhere outside? No, they can't. They need to have a big garage. They need to preserve it, protect it. Everything has to be done in that manner. Even if you have a gold chain or a gold ring, if you have a gold ring, can you just leave it somewhere and go? No, the whole day and night you're going to be worried. You got what I'm saying? The ego comes in. Where did I keep it? Where did I keep it? Where did I keep it? The ego is the cause of misery. It is the relative existence. Existence because of something else. When you do anything wrong in this world or you do anything good in this world, that whatever wrong you do is going to eat you up. It eats a person up. If you have robbed someone, it's going to eat you up. If you have done some kind of a deceit, that is what is going to eat you up. If you have done something good also, it's going to eat you up, because you're going to say, oh, I did this, I gave money, I gave this thing in this world. And this is the truth about life. Ego rears its head. And that is what he says. As is the case with ego, which conjures it's a magical world of relative existence. You start taking pride in your body. Look at me, I look so great. Even that skin, even the color of your eyes, or the way you look, the clothes you wear, the way you present yourself. You see, the whole thing is nothing but a fantasy. And this ego keeps on telling you. You see, I wear this kind of garments when I am doing my satsang. Many a times people have asked me, can you not cut your hair properly? Well, I don't have any hang-ups about the hair. I just go to the salon and that person just cuts it. Doesn't really matter to me. Why should it bother? If he is not able to cut, if my hair is not like that, I should not be bothered about it. There is freedom in that. The ego comes when your hair is out of place. The ego will come when you feel, oh, people are watching me. See? You see what the whole problem is? People are watching me. Here, this old man, this particular Brahmana, he's going along with torn clothes. Nobody recognizes him. He was one of the richest man in the neighborhood over there, and nobody recognizes him. That is freedom. And this freedom is so very important. The illumined man is never afraid of the material world. The illumined man, the one who is enlightened, why should he be afraid of anything? He is not bothered if anything is going. He is not bothered because he has no money. If he has no money, he is not bothered whether the money comes or goes. He has no care about his, special, oh, I have this, it is my pride. He doesn't have any pride. He doesn't care how he looks. There is nobody in this world who can help him get bigger. He's not bothered that his children are not doing anything. Or there might be some great presidents or prime ministers. It doesn't matter to him. You got what I'm saying? So this person, who is an enlightened person, why should he be afraid of the material world? There is no fear in him, because what can the material world do? He doesn't have anything to go by saying that my name is so and so. Today morning I was explaining something to Rajma over here, and I said, this is you, this is this one, and this is Suresh Rao. She said, you are not Suresh Rao. I said, it really doesn't matter to me. I can call myself by any name I feel like. Because I am a person with no name. That is why I have named myself KrsnaKnows. God knows my name. I have no name. You can call me A, B, or Z. Doesn't matter to me. Yeah, out of respect, some people call me Krishna Guruji and all those kind of things. It is okay. It doesn't matter to me. It matters to the world. See, they are bothered about it. But to this body, to this person, what does it matter? Why should it matter? If I go in a congregation of saints over there, does it matter? If I am sitting with the poor people begging in the streets, and tomorrow you may find me sitting with one katori over there in the streets and begging and saying, okay, can you give me 1 rupee? Do you think that is shameful? It really won't matter. That is the reason why this enlightened person, this illumined man is never afraid of this world. He's not bothered about death. He's not bothered about anybody. Because what can anybody do to this person? There was this great saint, a Sufi saint, who kept on saying Anal Haq. They finally caught him because in Islam you can't say these words. So they caught him, put him in jail, they beat him up, they did all kinds of things. Then they kept on making, chopping off his body parts. Finally, all his body parts were chopped up. And yet he kept on saying the words Anal Haq. That is freedom. So when the king went to see this particular saint who had died in that prison, from every part of his body, the small pieces that they had made from his body, the sounds were reverberating. They said Anal Haq, Anal Haq, Anal Haq. This is Sufism for you. The truth is, you need to have freedom. Are you free? Why should you be afraid of anybody? I follow the righteous path. Those who follow the righteous path and those who live in this world completely free like this, they have no fear. You have to become fearless in spiritual. Otherwise, spirituality is worthless for you. If you have been in spiritual and if you are thinking of listening to my satsang and you are bothered about your parents, your relatives, your friends, your husbands, your wives, your children, your dogs, or God knows all kinds of things, or your house that you have, or the money that you have, then you are not free. You have a property to attend to. You have somebody to bother you, how you are dressed, what you are doing. Then you are not free. The freedom is about this person. You understood what I am saying? The illumined man is never afraid of the material world. So we are doing Uddhava Gita, chapter 18. We will be doing verse 58. So I shall practice this devotion to the Supreme Self, which the great sages of old has recourse to, and only worshipping the feet of the Lord, I shall cross the limitless wilderness of ignorance. So this person says, this Brahmana says, so I shall practice this devotion, the one path which is absolutely beautiful and worth following, is called the path of devotion. To be devoted to the Divine Lord, surrendering at His feet. That is all that is needed. The devotion to the Supreme Self. Krishna is the Supreme Self. You are the Self. You are not a body. This knowledge, if it enters you, you are enlightened. Then you will not be bothered with anybody or anything in this world. Maya will not touch you. You will not be afraid of anything. And nobody in this world can hold you up for anything. Because you have become that Supreme Self. The devotion to the Supreme Self. The sages have said about this and he has understood this. And only worshipping the feet of the Lord. catch hold of the feet of Krishna and just worship him. The supreme divine consciousness is nothing but Sri Krishna himself. So this Brahmana has understood that there is only one Krishna, and that I have to be free from all these attachments in this material world. From the body to the mind to the intellect to the material world, everything and everybody. I am free. I don't get bothered about the right and the wrong and the good and the bad and the nice and not so nice. There is pleasure and pain on one side. I am not bothered with it because there is freedom. When you are lost in the Supreme Self, completely immersed in it, and you have become a devotee, then the only thing that you got to do is catch the feet of the Lord. Because this is what the sages of the past have written, and if you follow this, then you will be free. So he says, and only worshipping the feet of the Lord, I shall cross this limitless wilderness of ignorance. The material world is only full of ignorance. And this ignorance is what you got to cross. The ignorance that you have, the moment you are born ignorant. You see, you look at your parents and you think, these parents will give birth to you, your mother, supposedly the mother in this world. You look at that woman and say, Mummy. And then you look at the father and you say, Daddy. There's this mummy and daddy relationships, and later on you have the relatives with you. This is ignorance. You have got bottled inside that bottle of yours, the body of yours. You are not somebody's son or daughter. You are nobody's son and nobody's daughter. You are that effulgent self which you have forgotten. So when you got yourself this body, you forgot who you truly are. And when you pass over this entire life of yours, till the last minute of your breath, if you have not understood the truth about life, that you are that effulgent self, if you have not understood, go and see your own relatives, your own father, your own mother, your parents, your grandparents, your spouses, your children, the people around you. See them, look at them and see whether they are really free. Nobody is free because they are entrapped. They are bound by the material world, and this truth is never understood. And because of that, the ignorance comes in them. They don't know what they are supposed to do. That is why they are seeking for all these petty things in life. A person who doesn't have money is seeking for money. A person who doesn't have friends is looking for friends. A person who doesn't have a spouse is looking for spouse. He feels lonely. He feels alone. You got what I'm saying? The person feels that there is nobody in this world, so I need somebody. The eternal self, the effulgent self, doesn't need anybody. He's alone. And the one person that he's supposed to be attached to is the Divine Lord. This whole world is just a fantasy. So this is the world of ignorance, which if you have this choice in your life of becoming spiritual, you will cross over and go through this wilderness of ignorance and get out of this bondage that is there. Become free. Don't get entrapped by relations. Don't get entrapped by money, power, fame, fortune, whatever. Don't get entrapped by this body, this mind, and this material worldly phenomena. Don't get entrapped by it. Become free. Become that self. So we have completed verse 58. So now we will do 59. So we are doing Uddhava Gita, chapter 18, verse 59. The Lord said, This was the song sung by the sage who, having lost his wealth and getting disgusted with the world, wandered over the earth as a monk, free from anxiety, and who, though insulted thus by the wicked, remained unshaken in his path of duty. This is the truth which you need to understand. This is a song. All this we did till the last verse 58 was a song sung by this person who has now become a sage. Because if he has understood the self and if he has known this material world is like this only, it is a fantasy, he has overcome Maya. If he has overcome Maya, then he becomes a sage. So Sri Krishna is telling Uddhava, this is the song sung by the sage. He did not say the Brahmana, he said the sage, who having lost his wealth, when you have wealth, you are in bondage. Even a piece of cloth, even a coin, even little gold, even little money, a salary in your bank account, okay? All that is nothing but bondage. Whatever it is, that little thing also you have is a wealth. Now, when you go to a temple and you just have a plain slippers, very cheap ones. Maybe you got them for 100 rupees or 200 rupees. You leave them outside the temple and you enter the temple. When you enter the temple, you're worried somebody will take your slippers. That is your wealth. And when you come out and you see them not there, what happens to you? You get upset. You get angry. You get so upset with that. Oh, somebody has taken it away. When we have possessions like this, let us say you have a daughter or a son, and the daughter or the son is getting married, and you possess them so much. And when you possess them, oh, my daughter, my son. And when the other person comes, your son-in-law comes or your daughter-in-law comes, you feel as if they have taken the people away from you. And that is your wealth. Because you possess it. This particular Brahmana doesn't have any of these things. He doesn't have any wealth. He got disgusted with the world. See, if this disgust doesn't come, you can never be in spiritual. Please remember one thing. Till the disgust doesn't come with this world, you can never be in spiritual. You will be still attracted to everything in this world. You see, if you are a man, you will get attracted to a woman. If you are a woman, you will get attracted to a man. If you don't have money, you will be attracted to money. If you don't have power, you will be attracted to power. Everything is attraction in this world. It's a false attraction. But that attraction will drive you towards that place. If you don't have anything, let us say you don't have children, you will want children in this world. All these things are nothing but your possessions. You possess those things. You want them. You desire them. And this desire causes you ignorance in this world. A time comes in your life when you see all this is so worthless. This world itself is worthless. Like this particular Brahmana found that his own wife and his children are so worthless. They have thrown him out of the house. They have taken all his things away. See? Likewise, the whole world has tortured him, put him, thrown stones at him, torn his clothes, taken away. Even the begging bowl they have taken away. If you remember the story very well. So this person, he has got disgusted with the world. Till this disgust doesn't come in you, you can never go towards spiritual. Please remember this. Spirituality is not just sitting for satsang or listening to something or singing songs and all that. No. You have to feel this disgust come in you. And this disgust has to be terrible. It cannot be just that petty thing. Oh, I feel so sad. I don't like my office. I don't like my boss. It is not those likes and dislikes. Disgust doesn't mean likes and dislikes. Otherwise, people, they construe my words as like this, Yes, I am disgusted with my own office. My boss is useless. Not that. You have to be disgusted with this world. That is what he says. Getting disgusted with this world, wandered over the earth like a monk. You have to wander freely. Absolutely. Today, why do you think I am doing these 4 classes? Because I have to finish these satsangs of mine. And once I finish my satsangs, I won't be available to anybody directly. Once in a while, I may connect with you all. But this is something which you need to understand. This freedom which is there is very important. The monk has to go out and wander freely. There should be nothing that should bind him. People will be worried, they'll say, Guruji, if you are gone, what will happen to us? Don't worry. It's not that I'm leaving this world and running away to heavens or something like that. Nothing like that. I am very much there. But that petty things you keep on asking me, Guruji, what happens to this? Guruji, what happens to that? I won't be answering you for all those stupid questions of yours. No. If you are in spiritual, you have to find your answers. Just like this person felt disgusted and found the answers. Finding answers means I have done so many years of satsangs. They are there online. Listen to them. Make notes of it. Think about what is being said. You think I keep on repeating this time and again for the heck of it? No. I want you to listen to it carefully and follow it. This is not some, oh, it is available just like that, so I will take the satsang. It is nothing like that. I am talking about real words. So he says, he wandered the earth like a monk, free from anxiety. What anxiety will be there with this person? There is nothing there to be anxious about. Why should he be anxious about somebody's, oh, I have got children, I have to worry about their future? Do you think that is what happens? A person who understands this, who has become enlightened, who has become free, this illuminated man, this illumined person, do you think he has any of these things going on in his mind? Do you think he has anxiety? What is going to happen to my money? What is going to happen to my family? What is going to happen to my wife? What is going to happen to my children? Do you think that is what is worrying him? There is worry only comes. Anxiety only comes when you are bothered about the future. When you have surrendered to the dear Lord and when you are one with the self, there is nothing to bother you about. So there is no anxiety for this kind of a person. And who, though insulted thus by the wicked, remained unshaken in the path of duty. Insulted by the wicked. There are lots of wicked people in this world. These wicked people do all kinds of wrong things. They do not follow the path of dharma at all. They torture, they do all kinds of wrong things. And when they do all kinds of wrong things, these are the people who are called the wicked people. So Krishna is telling Uddhava, he says, thus insulted by the wicked people insulted him, they tore his clothes. Remember this whole story? I don't think I should tell you again and again the story. The whole world treats him like dirt. They insulted him, they called him names, they said whatever that came to their mind. But he remained unshaken. The duty that is there for this world, he will continue to do. The duty that is given to me of teaching this world, I will continue to do till my last breath. That is the thing which I am there for. My Gurudev told me that I have to teach. I have put all my satsangs online. Everything is available from podcast to YouTube to every channel that is there. It is available. It's there on the website. Please go and have a look at all these satsangs. You will get your knowledge over there. But the teaching which I have to do, that is the path of my duty. I will be doing that duty of mine in an unshaken manner. I will also do it. So this particular person who is now become a sage does his duty to this world. Duty is important. Whatever it is called the swadharma, those who follow the righteous path, it is called dharma, path of dharma. Those who have their duty to perform why they are there in this world is called swadharma. Swa means mine, my dharma. What is my dharma? Every person has a dharma, and that is what they have to do diligently till they die. Understood? So we will go to the next verse. This is chapter 18 from the Uddhava Gita, verse 16. The world, consisting of friends, neutrals and foes, which affects a man with pleasure and pain, is a phantasm of his mind owing to ignorance and nothing but that. See, this world which has got friends, relatives, your family that is there, your parents, you have your parents, I have my mother, I have my father, I have my grandfather, grandmother, this, that, my brothers, my sisters, all this. Those who are married, they'll say, oh, I have my wife, or I have my husband, I have my children. The relatives that we gather in our life. Every person gathers relatives. And then they have friends also. Relatives is one, friends is another. Then they have their bosses, they have all the companies or whatever that they own in this world. All this is consisting of friends, neutrals and foes. Foes means your enemies. Suppose you have an enemy. Oh, this person is against me. That person is against me. That person said like this to me. This person said like this to me. This whole thing which comprises of this world, it affects a man. It affects every person with pleasure and pain. There is pleasure on one side and there is pain on the other side. It is nothing but a phantasm of the mind. Sri Krishna is telling Uddhava, all this is nothing but fake. It is just a fantasy created by your own mind. Your mind is telling you, this is my mother, this is my father, this is my brother, this is my sister. It is telling you, this is my wife and this is my children. You see, you get married with a piece of paper, and you are bound by that piece of paper. That doesn't allow you freedom. So you want to get out of that. A sage has nothing binding in his world because he is not even related to anybody. That is what he is trying to say. All these relationships, all these things which consist of friends and neutrals or foes, it affects a person's pleasure and pain. This is nothing but a phantasm of the mind. Owing to ignorance, man, nothing but that. It is because of your ignorance that you are getting bound by all these things. You see, your parents, your relatives, your friends, they have come together because of karmic, action that is there. You have karmic loops with these people. Karma has brought you together. So you are just doing your prarabdha karma, getting rid of that prarabdha karma. When you meet somebody, that is just because of the prarabdha karma. But you have to do your duty in a dharmic manner. You have to follow your swadharma. Swadharma is the reason for your existence. And all these relationships and all these things are nothing but fantasy of the mind. It is nothing but ignorance. This is Sri Krishna's words to Uddhava. Krishna is telling Uddhava all these nonsensical relationships, the good and the bad, the likes and the dislikes, the pleasure and the pain is nothing but fantasy of the mind. It is happening because you are an ignorant person. And it is nothing but that. So we go to the next verse. This is Uddhava Gita, chapter 18, verse 61. Therefore, my friend, possessed of an intellect wholly attached to me, control the mind perfectly. This is the very gist of yoga. Yoga means union with God. Do you understand? Yoga doesn't mean Hatha yoga and all that. Otherwise, tomorrow you will say, Guruji, yoga means Hatha yoga. Sir, then I will come and tell you, oh, don't worry, there is one tablet also, that is also called yoga tablet. The computer is there, a laptop or whatever. Are you stupid? Yoga means union with God, and here Krishna is giving you this answer. Therefore, my friend, possessed of an intellect wholly attached to me, control the mind perfectly. This is the gist of yoga. Surrender to me. Surrender at my feet. Krishna says, I am the final authority in this entire universe. There is nobody who is above me. No gods are above me. I have already told you, not only in this satsang, but in the Bhagavad Gita as well. There is nobody greater than Sri Krishna. No God, no demon, nothing can be greater. Not even Brahma. The Parabrahma that we talk about, he is the one who created the Parabrahma because he stays in the second divine unmanifest. So Sri Krishna is the ultimate, and that is why he says, you have to become only attached to me. So this particular sage got attached to him alone, to Krishna alone. Control your mind perfectly. Don't get carried away by all those things that are happening in this world. The world is anyway just a fantasy. The fantasy keeps on playing. Did I not tell you that? Your eyes keep on seeing something, your nose smells something, your ears hear something. It is nothing but a fantasy of the mind. Don't get carried away by it. Attach yourself to me. Krishna says these words, and wholly be attached to me. Control the mind. This is the true yoga. When you are only attached to Krishna and you are surrendered to him completely, having absolute faith in him, and you have unconditional love for him, that is all that is needed. And when you have that, then you are with him. And this is the gist of yoga. Everything that is happening is nothing but a creation of your mind. Remember this, it is a phantasm creation of your mind which deludes you constantly. Get out of that ignorance and become self-effulgent, become the self. So we come to the last verse in this chapter. This is Uddhava Gita, chapter 18, verse 62. He who listens to, understands, and recites before others the song of steadfastness in Brahma, as sung by this sannyasi, is no more overcome by the pair of opposites. Now you may not be able to recite this. I will not be also able to recite it. But you have heard this entire chapter, the entire verse, the entire poem which this person has sung. This Brahmana has sung this very beautiful poem. And I have explained every line and every verse to you. This whole world is a fantasy. It's a phantasm created by the mind. Don't get carried away by all these things in this world. Don't get carried away by relationships. relationships will spell doom to you. Don't get attached to any object in this world. The relationship not only is with human beings, but with animals, birds, or with your cars, your laptops, your phones, anything. If you have any relationship with any person or an object, it's an attachment. That will put you in ignorance. And this ignorance is going to kill you. Then you will be continuously in the cycle of birth and death and birth and death. And you know that. I have told you this. So now that you have understood this Brahmana who was treated so badly by the world, his own relatives treated him badly. All that happened to him was nothing but a painful story. But Krishna says it is nothing but a fantasy of the mind. It's a fantasy of the mind. Once you get out of this fantasy, one Maya is completely eliminated. Then you understand the truth. The truth can only be understood when you have disgust for this world. Otherwise, the truth can never be understood. You have to renounce this world completely. Renunciation doesn't mean you can give up your duties. Sorry. Renunciation means you have to keep on doing your duties. The reason for your existence. Why are you here? This is the truth which you have to find out. The Swadharma is important. You have to know your Swadharma. And once you understand your Swadharma, you are on the right path towards liberation. And do it diligently. Do it efficiently, but with complete detachment. No attachment of any sort. And when you do this thing, then you will be free. There will be no bondage for you. Then you will be free from these material worldly bondages. There will be complete detachment. You will become dispassionate, detached, and you will know that there is only one God in this world. So remove yourself from all these other people and get attached only to the self, the effulgent self. When you understand you are the self, you will know that the supreme self is Sri Krishna himself. So catch hold of his feet, surrender to him, be his devotee, have unconditional love for him, and then you will know the truth. Then you would have reached the ultimate destination. So, if you have listened to this entire poem as recited by this particular sage, then this song of steadfastness in Brahma is no more overcome by the pair of opposites. You will never be overcome by likes, dislikes, pleasure or pain, the right and the wrong, or anything which is disturbing you. You will become free. So we have come to the end of verse 62. Tomorrow we will start the new chapter. So take care. You have a great evening, and I will see you all tomorrow morning at 6:30. Bye.